Hey everybody, JJ here with Thrivestry. We're going to talk about bootlegger burpees. Now this is a movement that I came up with because I wanted to think about a way to make burpees like a little bit more quote unquote functional. And I had this vision of like, you're laying down because there's some, emergency or something going on and you had to get up and run and then get back down again. So maybe you're playing hide and go seek, maybe you're doing paintball or something like that. And so I figured instead of doing like just a burpee in place or a burpee over something, or you jump over something, I came up with the burpee plus a short sprint, like a shuttle sprint. So if you think about a bootlegger turn is actually when you're driving in a car and you make a U-turn. That's what they call a bootlegger turn. I think sometimes they call it a J-turn because it was the bootleggers in the South that were smuggling moonshine that supposedly developed this turn. But essentially, you're gonna have two lines on the ground, so some cones or something set up, and sometimes they're programmed at 10 feet, sometimes they're programmed at 20 feet. I like to keep them short, so if you guys are doing your own programming, you'll want to keep it a little bit on the short side. It's not about the distance of the run, it's the acceleration and having to turn around and lay back down. The problem when you start going longer is you have, if it's 20 feet, for example, you've now got people that are 6 feet tall having to stretch their body out, then 20 feet, and then another 6 feet. So now you're going to need 30 or 40 feet to make that work, and it takes up a lot of space in the gym. So if you make it 10 or 15 feet, it's usually going to get you where you need to go. So it starts with they'll start behind the cones. We want to make sure that we're clear. There's a clearance behind them. They're going to drop down into the burpee, and we can do the standard kipping burpee. We're not looking for strict, so people can peel up. We obviously don't want people to hyperextend. We want them to come up off their knees or come up into a push-up. They're gonna jump. I like to have people come up in a sprint start position, and then they're gonna run the 10 feet, and then we're gonna drop down. Once they pass the other barrier, they'll drop down behind the line, just as long as their hands are behind the line. Their head doesn't have to be behind the line. And they're gonna touch their chest again, pop up, run to the next thing. So it's a combination of burpees and running. And so I'm hoping that CrossFit, if you see this would be a great way to introduce some running into the open where we can do it indoors. But that's the bootlegger burpee. Hopefully you guys get a chance to do these and learn to love them as much as I do.